What else could it be? What else would be pink out there in the middle of the lake? Sometimes, things happen that seem so out of place and ridiculous that they're hard to process. This was the case in fall of 2023, when American flamingos started turning up in various states way farther north than anyone thought possible. Among these states were Texas, Kentucky, and even Wisconsin. On the day these magnificent birds first made an appearance in the Badger State, my brother Derek was able to go see them, but I wasn't. As luck would have it, the exact same flamingos were later relocated. Not wanting to miss this opportunity a second time, I picked up our friend Nathaniel and headed out, hoping to get my lifer looks at this bird species that has no business being in the state. Hey everyone, this is Ryan from Badgerland Birding. Today I am on a mission to try to see some flamingos in Wisconsin. There were some that showed up along Lake Michigan that would have been much easier to see, but unfortunately I had to work. And here's a pro tip for you at home: don't get a job. While the original reports of flamingos were along Lake Michigan in the city of Port Washington, they had been relocated farther west in Petenwell Lake, the second largest inland lake in the state. With 2 positive reports in the morning indicating that the flamingos were still present, we made the approximately 2.5-hour drive, hoping they would stick long enough for us to see them. So we're only about 20 minutes away from the location where these flamingos are supposed to be, and we haven't gotten many reports one way or another about if they're there or not, but we're very hopeful that they will still be there. Apparently they're super far out, so we may have to actually take a kayak or a canoe to a place where we can get a little better look at them, but hopefully first things first, we'll see those beautiful pink birds there. We arrived at an access point on the lake, trying to follow the most recent eBird reports. We soon realized that without more specifics, we might have trouble figuring out where to search in the vast expanse of water. So we've arrived at the place the flamingos are being seen, and it turns out the thing is massive, and we got a little confused by eBird reports because people were saying it's on the north side of the lake. I think people have been viewing from the south side of the lake and looking across this little bay at the flamingos. So we're going to try to go like 8 minutes south and see if these pinned locations from today pan out. I'm hoping so, because otherwise this is going to be like a needle in a haystack. Heading south along the lake, we found another access point where reports had indicated the flamingos could be viewed from. Alright, we just got to the lake now in a point where we hopefully can get out and see if there's flamingos. There's a lot of other people with binoculars here, so I'm assuming a lot of people are trying to find them. So we'll see if we can get a view. I'm really excited. I'm hoping to see at least some pink blobs out there so I can count my Wisconsin flamingos. We found ourselves on a beach and started looking north to the opposite side of the bay. We noticed a few wood ducks in the area and heard a few more blue jays in the trees as well. Eventually we did spot some pink shapes out in the distance, which were most likely the flamingos. However, they weren't close enough to see any distinguishable details other than the general color. Found what appears to be the flamingos, but they're just very distant pink blobs that aren't even really viewable on the camera. There's somebody here with a scope, and we looked through that scope, but still even then really far out and impossible to tell if it's a bird for sure. But it's just like, what else could it be? What else would be pink out there in the middle of the lake? So we're gonna see if Rob and Eric can help us get some kayaks out there and get some actual better views of these birds. Fortunately, we came prepared with another plan. It came in the form of our friends and fellow Wisconsin birders Rob and Eric, who met us at the lake with 4 kayaks. They had made the exact same trip out to see these birds a few days earlier, so they knew exactly where to go. Rob, it's been too long.
I know, right?
You ready for an expedition?
I'm always ready for an expedition these days.
So I've actually never been in a kayak before.
Are you serious?
How tippy are they?
That's not too bad.
Not
the
too
water's
bad.
only like 3 feet deep, you'll be fine.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Love it. Derek even gave me a dry bag just in case.
Oh, right, yeah, definitely. I mean, I should have one, but yeah, I got my backpack.
Eric.
Security. Oh.
See him in Oregon, see him in Wisconsin. Did you get the flamingos yet?
Yeah, I came
Oh,
with Rob
okay.
a couple days ago.
Oh, cool. We think that we saw them from like down by that beach over there.
Yeah.
So I think they're still there. All right, we're about to go try to kayak to see these flamingos. Hopefully everything works out well. Hopefully this doesn't end up found footage by someone else on a different YouTube because I lost my camera. We'll see how it goes. We pushed off from the shore and started the relatively short paddle from the launch to the spot where the flamingos had been spending most of their time. The novelty of kayaking out to see a bird that other than this year is never found in the state was not lost on us. Out here in the kayak, so far so good. It's kind of wild to be so close to the water. This is my first time kayaking. It's going to be to see flamingos, so we have to go through this crazy water lotus patch or whatever it is, so we'll see what happens. After paddling through the water lotuses, the flamingos came into view. There were already several other people in boats and kayaks taking pictures and observing the birds. We parked the kayaks near some cattails and stepped into the lake in order to get some more stable looks. There, just about 100 yards away, were my lifer American flamingos. There it is, Wisconsin lifer flamingos. Derek did it the easy way. I saw the same birds doing it the harder way, but possibly the more fun way. We spent a lot of time observing the flamingos that were resting in the shallow waters of the lake, seemingly unbothered by the people watching them. We walked a little bit closer to the point where the water was around waist deep, and eventually got to see these rare visitors stretch their wings and move around a bit before going back to resting. This is so crazy to just see flamingos here in the middle of this lake in Wisconsin. It's like an I don't know what to feel kind of moment right now, but it was epic to come out here in the kayak, so I'm glad we did that instead of seeing it just offshore like a normal person. American flamingos are native to northern South America, the Caribbean, eastern Mexico, and the most southeastern parts of the United States. In a typical year, these birds don't stray very far from their normal range, but this year has been different. Hurricane Idalia has been largely responsible for pushing wildlife, and birds in particular, away from where they would normally reside, making it a special year for flamingos in the United States, in which these majestic birds are showing up in places nobody ever expected. The first time these flamingos were spotted in Wisconsin, hundreds of people came to see them, and they made national news, making it one of the biggest birding stories in the state over the last decade. These 5 birds at Petenwell Lake are undoubtedly the exact same ones that first graced birders with their presence on Lake Michigan a few weeks earlier. It's unclear how long they will stay in the state, but they have been seen feeding in the water, most likely on small aquatic invertebrates, and at the time that this video was made, appear to be healthy and capable of returning back south where they belong. After spending plenty of time basking in the presence of the flamingos, we returned to our kayaks and headed back to the launch. We're gonna hit the road now, but it was a really crazy experience coming out here to see these flamingos in a place they absolutely don't belong. So I'm really glad we took the time to go do this while they're still in the state. Hopefully these birds make it back to where they belong, somewhere on the southeastern US coast, or maybe even farther south than that. After loading up the gear and getting back in the car, we reflected on the unique experience of kayaking out to see a bird species that nobody ever even remotely thought would make an appearance in the state of Wisconsin. Well, I've said that like 1,000 times already, but that was a really wild experience. I'm totally soaked. Now we've got like a 2-hour drive back. Got a bunch of dirt on me. Nathaniel lost his hat.
I did.
But he found it again.
I did. It's wet. So.
What did you think of that experience?
It was awesome.
It's memorable.
It was. I love memorable birding adventures.
Now we just have a drive back toward Milwaukee and call it a day. Being able to check American flamingo off my life list was a remarkable experience. Being able to check the species off my state list was absolutely insane. More than anything, it was a relief to not miss out on the experience of seeing the Wisconsin flamingos so many other birders in the state had already gotten to enjoy. Hopefully these birds make it back to where they belong safe and sound, but until they do, they will continue to be the talk of the town and be in our minds as a memory that we won't soon forget. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Badgerland Birding. Hopefully these birds will fly back to where they actually do belong, somewhere on the coast of the southeastern United States, or maybe even farther south. So, hey Nathaniel, whoa, Nathaniel, buddy, take it easy. He's too excited.